I'm posting this from a throwaway account because my main account has information about where I work. And after what happened last night, I don't want anyone thinking I've lost my mind. But something happened, something I can't explain. When I was a kid, my grandmother made me say the same prayer every single night before bed. Nothing fancy, just the old one. Now I lay me down to sleep. She wouldn't let me skip it, not once. At the time, I thought it was just one of those strange habits old people have. But I stopped saying it years ago, back when I went through my rebellious atheist phase. You know, the age where you suddenly think you've figured everything out. And honestly, I didn't think about that prayer again for more than a decade, until this year. This year has been rough. I lost my job. A few months later, my girlfriend left, and suddenly I was 31 years old, alone in a tiny apartment, with too much silence and too many thoughts. So a few nights ago, I started saying the prayer again, not because I believed in it, but because it reminded me of when things felt safe. Last night, I was exhausted. I had barely slept all week. I remember lying down in bed, mumbling the words half asleep. Now, I lay me down to sleep, and before I could even finish the prayer, I drifted off. Then suddenly, I woke up, but I couldn't move. My eyes were open. My mind was awake. But my body was completely frozen. Sleep paralysis. If you've never experienced it, it feels like being trapped inside your own body. At first, I told myself it was normal. Sleep paralysis can cause hallucinations, shadow figures, shapes in the room. But then, I saw something, standing in the corner of my bedroom, tall, completely still, watching me. I kept telling myself it wasn't real, just a trick of the mind, just a dream. But then the shadow moved. It didn't walk, it didn't step forward, it just leaned closer. As my eyes adjusted to the darkness, I realized something that made my stomach drop. The figure wasn't standing across the room anymore, it was standing right next to my bed, close enough that I could feel its presence. Then it leaned down, right next to my ear, and it whispered something, very softly. At first, I didn't understand, but then I realized what it was saying. It was finishing the prayer. I'd only said the first half before falling asleep, but the thing standing beside my bed finished the rest, in a voice that sounded dry, ancient, almost like it had been waiting a long time to say those words. If I should die before I wake, I pray the Lord my soul to take. This morning, I called my mother. I asked her something I hadn't thought about in years. Why Grandma was so strict about that prayer. There was a long silence on the phone. Then she said something I can't stop thinking about. She didn't make you say it to protect you. She made you say it so it would know you were still alive.